Hello, I'm Ilona, and I think today, yes, it is time to talk about Corvids. And there are some interesting things, and some obvious. Let's start with Raven. In Germanic languages, like in English, there is this Raven connection. But in a lot of other languages, Latvian, Lithuanian, Belarusian, Czech, Polish, and then even, for example, Moksha, Erzia, Call Me, I can see this ker, something with ker. Of course, that's for a raven. Yeah, well, okay. I would expect it more for a crow because, and as you can see, here we have this. When in English it's crow, but in other languages this same word is used for raven, like the same root. Basically, I guess we have to look at raven and crow together actually, because for example, for crow, varna, varona, vares, again, a lot of similarities between unrelated languages. And here, most likely, obviously, these birds, like ravens and crows, were named because of the sounds they make. Yes. But also, there is possibility that it is not just that. uh, these were birds which were known definitely by very ancient peoples. And with birds, very often it is hard to tell, or almost impossible to tell, if there is some kind of borrowings or something was happening, because often the name for a bird could be reinvented many times, even after if it was lost in one population, and then another can come up with very similar one, only based on the sounds the bird makes. But still, I find it quite interesting how there are still too many these similarities, which I personally don't see so straightforward, like just the naming based on the sound it makes. For me, I can still see there was some kind of connection between these people and these words for these birds, names for these birds. Another corvid is rook, and also rook. That's again something around the same letters. But when you have different birds, obviously different, sometimes maybe not so obviously, people still often can't tell apart these birds. But you cannot call them all one name. You need to somehow distinguish them between each other. But in many languages, as you can see, rooks are called like some kind of a crow. So they don't really necessarily have their own unique name. Now, jackdaw. And this one is interesting. Some languages, for example, yes, Latvian, kovārnis, it is still related to crow. So people who named them clearly understood it is still related to a crow. But other languages, not really. And we can see here that Hungarian and actually this other, even Bulgarian, Erzia, Moksha, I don't know, Čauka, Turki, Čuva, Šķana. Tata, there are some similarities, like obvious similarities. This must be very ancient word from this one specific area, from where these people came from, where they have this like some kind of common ancestral area. What is also interesting, chauka, is like in Russian, chaika is a gull. Is it just coincidence? Yeah, can be, yeah. Also, it can be just coincidence, of course. And probably it is, but sometimes in languages, animal names can be like opposite. There is this thing, for example, in Latvian, Lithuanian, when in Latvian it is Zaunis, in Lithuanian Briedis, and in Latvian Briedis, in Lithuanian is Zaunis. So these things also happen very, very often, actually. Now magpie. Magpie is also interesting. For Latvian and Baltic it will be Žagata, but Žagata, Turkic, Čakak, Šarka, Soroka. You can see obviously that there is some kind of pattern here. Yes, they make this sound, and again, that is most likely some kind of sound imitation in its naming. But these are really words. They're it's more than just sound imitation. Like, yes, I know there is this word which I cannot pronounce. Really, I cannot say it. When something is named after a sound it makes. There is a possibility, looking at these namings, that also it could be somewhere something from very long time ago. And because, yes, and why not? If we have fish names which are clearly from who knows how ancient times, why not birds? Yes, birds make sounds, and that is obvious. But this is something, here it is something more than just sound, in my opinion. Also, J, it is important. This one is interesting. Look like jays are very much associated with acorns, nuts, and that makes sense. That's why, for example, Latvian sealis, it is interesting because the hypothesis, it could be from word blue. They do have some blue feathers. But in Latvian also zila is acorn. And what I found interesting in Estonian, they, like I believe, what I think, this is folk etymology. Because what would be the reason to connect this beautiful bird to what? To excrements? I mean, seriously, no, I don't believe that. I think that is still connected to a nut from Proto-Finnic. Just over time, again, the word changed a little bit, and the meaning changed. For me, what is most logical, also looking at other names for this in other languages, and knowing them, the bird itself, of course, it is connected to nut. Zilite. In Russian, it's sinitsa also. It is connected to blue. So it could, there are these blue, okay, let's say titmouse, really, because the name of this bird in English is embarrassing. But also, if we look in other languages, in Russian, soika, and in Hungarian, which is Uralic language, I can clearly see a similarity. How that could happen? That's really interesting. How it happened. For example, in Finnish, again, absolutely different word. Yeah. Oh well. Oh no. Okay, not really. The Estonian is there is connection. Yes. But how it is there is connection between Russian and Hungarian name for this bird? So that must be again Uralic, some kind of word. No, maybe no. Maybe it's Slavic borrowing in Hungarian. Maybe. But okay. So this is what I found. If you have anything to add, of course you do that because I am doing the investigation. I am not saying that what I found and I can make mistakes like AI. If AI can make mistakes, I am as a human also allowed to make mistakes. Uh, if there is something what I missed, or you want to add something, or you found or know some better explanations for something, yes, write a comment. Yeah. Thanks for watching and goodbye.